Hello. In tonight's video, we're going to be going over the database adapter in the SOA suite. The database adapter is an amazing tool that allows you to connect to a database using drag and drop components and then grab the data that you receive and in memory and then manipulate or do whatever you need to do with that data. It's just a phenomenal tool. So we're going to start off with a very basic uh, look at grabbing data using the employees table. Now, the employees table is part of the HR schema that comes with nearly every database. It may not be on your production system, but it certainly should be on your test system if you have one. And if you don't, ask the DBA to start it up. It allows you to basically look at some test tables. But the HR.employees table is unique in that there is a manager ID. And the manager ID is exactly the same as the employee ID. And there is a self-join foreign key on that table, which makes it a little bit more difficult to work with in SOA Suite because the database adapter will introspect the employees table and view that relationship, and we'll show you how complicated it can get. So I have a basic BEPL process here, the client calling into the BEPL process, and the only thing that's in here is an assigning the input parameter so that we can grab an employee ID from here. Let's take a look at this. In WebLogic, I have an adapter set up, and I am doing a basic select here with the employees table. Now, generally, this should be reentrant, but for some reason I'm having trouble keeping this in here. I don't know if that's a bug, and certainly I don't use this in production simply because it's too complicated the way this comes out. But you can see that it is automatically pulling in the employees collection here and last name, first name. Now, let's say, for example, we just wanted this simple data here. If we copy this into SQL Plus, just a sec here, 103, you can see that we've got one record that we're pulling in. And this is kind of interesting here because if you set this up and copy this in, (103), you can see that it's pulling in, excuse me, 4 records. And each record has, it's basically a Cartesian join almost. It's pulling in all of his staff members who have him as a manager. So it's kind of a odd way of pulling in the data. We basically just want one record here. But you'll see when we deploy this that that's not actually going to happen. So let me deploy it. Started. I'm going to turn this off until we're out there. Okay, we've got the SOA app here, and we're going to be doing this one. Now, note that I'm running on my admin server. This is just a demo server that I have here, so I'm not really running it correctly. We're going to go over to request, which usually is defaulted, and we're going to test this. That was successful. We'll launch the flow. Now what we want to do is look at the data that we get from here. Now you can see we've got 103. However, we also have Stephen King showing up there. And even though we selected only just the one person, we've got all of this data that we are now holding, and we really don't need all that. So in our next database adapter demo or review, we're going to be looking at how to just do it with grabbing from pure SQL. Stay tuned.